It's the first Sunday in January of 2021, and this is actually a very good time to check the northern growth area of Las Vegas. So what we're going to do, Las Vegas is growing very rapidly, and we're going to skirt the northern end of Las Vegas right at the tip of the growth area. And on one side, we're going to see desert. The other side, we're going to see the expanding city. And in another 9 years, when we hit 2030, you'll see a lot of that area that's desert is going to be filled in with housing developments. So right now it's wild desert. Looking out toward, and there's Gas Peak in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, and you'll get better shots of this later. To the left of it, you can see the sheep range once we get out there, and all of that's wild right now. But within 10 years, you'll be looking at the same route we take, and you're going to see lots of housing developments stretching out to the north. We're going to go up Durango to the very end of Durango, and then take a left and head out construction area along the growth edge all the way out to Highway 95. So get ready for a snapshot in time of the northern growth area of Las Vegas. And by the way, our vehicle is the only vehicle that can take these roads, because they're all blocked off, is going to be the Silver Bullet here. So here we go. Our first snapshot is of this abandoned golf course in the Silverstone Estates, and here you can see the country club. Used to be a real going thing, this golf course and country club. There is Gas Peak, by the way, in the background, and then now you can see more clearly to the left of Gas Peak, and behind the country club you can see the sheep range. Anyway, there's what seems to be an eternal war between some people who were mad that the golf course was abandoned, and others that think, well, let's go ahead and do something about it and fix it. And so it's been in litigation for years now, about 5 years. Anyway, maybe 10 years from now, this will actually be a golf course again, or it'll be houses, or it'll look like this. So that's our first snapshot, and we're heading through the golf course and out the end of the Silverstone Estates on Silverstone Avenue. So here we go. Another view from the Silverstone Estates, and there you see the country club and Gas Peak, and then to the left the sheep range, and then we circle around. We'll do a 360, and coming into view is going to be the Mount Charleston Wilderness. There you go. The large dome on the right is Mummy Mountain, and then just over the housetops here you can see the tip of La Madre Mountain. So that gives you an idea where we are, and then we've got the residential area around us. And once again, the abandoned golf course, which at some point somebody's going to decide, hey, let's do something with this. But I don't know how many more association leaders they'll need to recall and change before something happens, but they're certainly working on it. Okay, here we go. At the entrance of the Silverstone Estates, this is the Palms area, and you can see we are on the corner of Monteviso and Silverstone Ranch Drive. And you can see parts of the golf course here on this side, the Palms side. And then if you go across the street, you can see more of the extended golf course. And believe me, it is a 27-hole golf course. Huge, but all abandoned at this point. So now let's go ahead and head down Silverstone Ranch Drive. Now we're at the very end of Buffalo. And this is the point where Buffalo turns into Silverstone Ranch Road. It becomes Silverstone Ranch Road at its very northern extremity and then heads out to the desert through this housing area. Anyway, this is the corner of Rachel and Buffalo. And we are going to take a right here and head down Rachel to Durango. Here we go. Just a little further down Rachel is a feature that we hope will not change. This is a park that is adjacent to Floyd Lamb Park. If you look off in the distance, there you're looking at Floyd Lamb Park. And this area, though it looks pretty barren and wild, actually there are some really nice bike trails in this area. Walking trails, bike trails, and so I think this is going to stay. This will be here in another 10 years, maybe a little more developed, who knows. But little rest areas. And then in the distance you can see the Sheep Range and Gas Peak. So just a little bit, you take a left at the end of Buffalo and you head out Rachel for just 1 or 2 blocks. You find yourself here, and the bike trails are very good. They go forever and ever, so you can get a really nice ride in. Okay, let's continue on up Rachel till we hit Durango. Then we'll turn right and head to the end of Durango where the leading edge of the construction is, and you'll see that in just a moment. Now we're at the corner of Rachel and Durango, where we are going to turn right and head out to the very end of Durango where it starts to get interesting. We'll be skirting that growth area. We'll take a left at the very end of Durango at a location that is currently Tule Lake fossil beds or Tule Springs fossil beds. We'll see when we get there. By the way, here's a 360. This view should not change much in 10 years. It's pretty well established. But as you look out, and there's Gas Peak, by the way. So ever present here. And then the Sheep Range off the end of Durango. Durango's pretty busy. Plan on it getting a lot busier. Okay, here we go. Corner of Durango and Brent. And here you can see more clearly Sheep Range, and then to the right of it Gas Peak, and you can see those areas on LasVegasAreaTrails.com. You can see a trip where I took an entire circuit of Gas Peak on my mountain bike, and that's again in LasVegasAreaTrails.com, the north section. And as you can see, we're on the edge. We'll come back here in 10 years or 9 years, 2030, and I believe we'll see all this filled in. And who knows, Durango at that point may be Durango Parkway and a little freeway. Who knows? It's already, it's a 4-lane road, so they're definitely planning to fill all this in. So, and by the way, down Brent Street is Floyd Lamb Park. That should not change. Floyd Lamb is a beautiful park with Tule Lake. There's about 4 different lakes there. Fishing, picnicking, biking, hiking. Lots of beautiful things to do, fun things to do at Floyd Lamb Park. And there it is down in that area, right at the end of Brent, if you take a ride off of Durango, on Durango and Brent. So anyway, let's continue on out to the end of Durango, where it's going to start getting really interesting. Nearing the end of Durango, first sign of construction. This road is closed. So we're going to continue on through this road, and you can see the sheep range directly ahead. And over in this direction, here you have Gas Peak, familiar sights. So let's head on up to the end of Durango. It's only a couple blocks now, and we'll see the Tule Springs fossil beds up here. And just take a look at what we expect to be things to look like in 10 years compared to what they look like today. Okay, closing in on the northern edge, the northern tip of Durango and the northern growth edge of Las Vegas. This is what things look like when you've got a major city pushing outward. And this in 10 years could be very much like the Los Angeles metro area. If this continues, there's a lot of land here, and you can see where they're just pushing it out. There's the sheep range. It's part of the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, so hopefully that will not be taken over. But right up to the border, I imagine, there will be homes, because there's a lot of desert area there. It's getting snapped up by large developers. Okay, we stand at the very end of Durango. You can see the construction around us and the drainage that's going to be installed here. I bet they will install this all the way from here to Highway 95. There's certainly enough of it. And let's stand right at the edge here. This is the Tule Springs fossil beds. And some interpretive signs here. And I imagine this park will be opened up again. In the next year or so, after this initial construction. You can see the wash here, how it sweeps through the canyon and it uncovers fossils. There's mammoth fossils that have been found here. We're looking, there's the Clark County gun range right at the base of Gas Peak, and you can see the Gas Peak page on LasVegasAreaTrails.com where I summited Gas Peak, stood on the very eastern summit, and then also there's a circuit of Gas Peak that I did on my mountain bike where I traveled from one end of Gas Peak, well actually from the Desert National Wildlife Refuge to the left of the sheep range there, all the way up past Fossil Ridge and on up around Gas Peak. I came out the eastern canyon there, and down to Grand Teton Road, actually, where I returned to the Silverstone Estates. So a lot of traveling in this area, but if you can imagine, yes, this area right here will probably remain the same if they don't level the fossil beds. It's actually a historic geologic area here. So we hope this remains the same, but if you can see all the relatively gradual flat land all the way up to the base of the mountains there, that is likely to, a lot of that to become residential area. So now you're seeing the very edge of Las Vegas, and then you can see the Mount Charleston wilderness. There's a good shot of Mummy Mountain. We'll get better shots of that as we get out further. But for now, and there's the end of Durango. For now, you can see the growth area. A lot of construction. If you go to the Lunatics Lickety Split Loop page on Las Vegas area trails, you can see where I took this direction down Moccasin Road and headed all the way back to the Silverstone Estates. So for today, we are going to head out Moccasin Road all the way to Highway 95. So we're going to be heading through a lot of construction here to make this route. Definitely can't do it in a car nowadays. So we're going to see some cool things. By the way, you can hear these power lines above us. You can just hear them crackling. I'm sure this isn't the healthiest place to be standing, but here we are. Okay, so out the power line maintenance road. Here we go. Under the heading, Desert versus Development. Here is the dividing line, Moccasin Road. And you can see to the right, development, the very northern tip of Las Vegas. There's the La Madre Mountain Wilderness in the background here, and then Mount Charleston Wilderness. And looking around, now we're sweeping out north to the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. Tule Springs fossil beds in the foreground. Sheep Range. Gas Peak. And you can see how the desert is still very pristine out here. But what's it going to look like in 10 years? We'll find out. There's looking down Moccasin Street. So there you have your 360-degree view of the growth edge of Las Vegas. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head out this power line maintenance road all the way to Highway 95. It's not open for traffic. Very few people have done this other than construction vehicles, but we're going to take it. Here we go. Further out, and good old Rinker is probably making a fortune on these drainage channels that I imagine are going to be placed in this ditch all the way from the end of Durango and all the way out to Highway 95. And here you can see the area to the north of us. A lot of area to expand at this point. Okay, continuing on. This is probably where you'd expect a person that loves the wilderness like me with Las Vegas area trails to talk gloom and doom about expansion. But you know, when you think about it, common sense says that everyone who is concerned with expansion is probably living in a house that was once natural land. And what they're basically saying is, hey, this is fine. I'm in my home and don't go any further out. Leave everything else natural. Well, it just is not logical. I mean, it's not common sense that we can actually do that as we grow in population and as areas grow. And you can see all this area that could be expanded here. So I would just say two things. One is, as we expand, leave some natural areas so that people can experience the wonder of these huge areas that this desert expanse, which you think, oh, there's nothing here, let's build on it. Well, leave some of it so that people can experience the open desert, the Mojave Desert area. And the second thing that I would say is that respect the boundaries. Don't try to push them out further and further and further, meaning there's the Desert National Wildlife Refuge boundary out there, the base of Gas Peak, or near the base of Gas Peak, probably another a couple miles this side of Gas Peak, and it stretches around to include the Sheep Range. Don't take that over. Leave that for people. Go ahead and expand in areas that we're seeing around us. Expand. You leave Tule Springs fossil beds for people to wander around in and enjoy. That's what makes neighborhoods really nice, is that you're not just wall-to-wall homes. You don't want to have greed where you just choke out everything but the home. So leave some nature and go ahead and expand, because you're going to expand, but do it with some thoughtfulness and respect for nature. Now, let's take a look at some landmarks here. There we've got the Mount Charleston Wilderness through the wires up there. We've got under the sun, almost directly under the sun, and who knows what we can see. I'm totally blinded here. But we have the La Madre Mountain Wilderness straight in the center. And then moving on around this direction, you would be on the other side of those mountains, you would see Red Rock National Park, and the Rainbow Mountains, but you can't see them from here. And then out in this direction, way off in the distance, you're looking at areas that I was in some of these areas just yesterday. If you look at the Fortification Hill page on Las Vegas Area Trails, and you can see looking from Arizona into this direction. And then here we have Frenchman Mountain, camel humps there. And moving around straight down the wires, way on the other side is the Muddy Mountains Wilderness, and to the left of that would be Valley of Fire State Park. And by the way, you can see all of these we have pages for each one of these on Las Vegas Area Trails and Adventures. Here's Gas Peak again. and then circling around to Fossil Ridge and the Sheep Range. And by the way, Tule Springs fossil beds is great, but if you really want to see fossils out there, go up in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, and on the right side, south side of the Sheep Range is Fossil Ridge. Incredible fossils up there. And then circling around, if we headed straight out this area, you get to Creech Air Force Base, and Creech is the place where they operate drones, military drones all over the world. You hear of drones bombing places. That happens with operators who are operating those like video games, and blowing things up. So no comments on that. Here I believe is the Snow Mountain Indian Springs area. There's a golf resort there. And then circling around back to the road we are on. And you can see some traffic out here off in the distance. And I can't see it because of the glare, but there is traffic out there on Highway 95 heading toward Reno or down back to Las Vegas. So there you have it. Growth edge of northern Las Vegas. Now we're going to continue out to 95. Here we go. Okay, we're almost at 95, and you can see the construction road here, the power line maintenance road, has turned into asphalt, and 95 is actually straight down at the end of this road, not too far at this point. You can see some traffic shooting along 95 and the Mount Charleston wilderness in the background. And you get a 360-degree view. Always gets me, they have to put no dumping signs anywhere there's a desert, as if people, well, it's because there are people who believe that they see an open area, that's where they're gonna dump stuff, use it as a trash can. And if you treat the wilderness that way, then you are living in a trash can, because that's how you're seeing the world around you. So it's all about respect for the wilderness. Here is a good shot of Frenchman Mountain. And this area right here is going to be the Sunstone development. Yeah, right now there's nothing here, but very soon this is just going to be packed with houses, just like Sky Canyon looked like this a few years ago, and now it's totally residential. So this is our 360-degree view, the northwestern tip of Las Vegas. Construction area, construction materials apex. So there you have it. We're going to continue on down this maintenance road, now turned into asphalt. We're going to take a left right before Highway 95 there, which is straight ahead, just another 1,000 yards maybe. And we're going to head back down to our starting point. So here we go. The way I imagine that This will be quite a thoroughfare along this northern residential area with its own freeway exit in 10 years, and all this will be residential, and the area out in this direction is probably going to likewise be filled in. But as I said, I hope that the wilderness boundaries are respected and not pushed out. You've got Gas Peak, beautiful area, and what a tremendous view of Las Vegas from the top of Gas Peak. It's like you are in an airplane and you're looking down on the whole city from that point up there. And you can look at the Gas Peak page on Las Vegas Area Trails and see that view. And there's the Sheep Range. And it's preserved. The Desert National Wildlife Refuge is especially dedicated to the bighorn sheep. So we want to keep those pristine behind Gas Peak. And on the other side of the Sheep Range, there's the largest Joshua tree forest I have ever seen. Stretches in a whole valley. Joshua trees all over the place. You got to see that sometime. Take the Desert National Wildlife Refuge and take Mormon Well Road, and you can see all this on the Las Vegas Area Trails website, where we took Mormon Well Road and just rode through that Joshua tree area. Very, very beautiful, incredible. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and head out to 95. There is a frontage road just before. We're going to turn left and head back down. I don't know how many more videos I'll take in this collection, but down we go. As you can see, we have reached the edge of Highway 95. There it is. We'll be seeing traffic shooting by on the way to Reno soon. We're looking down Sky Point Drive. We are actually on Sky Point and Moccasin. Here's a little more traffic happening on 95. Imagine 10 years from now, or imagine 2030, 9 years from now, standing in this very spot. We will do that. And just, we'll do a 360 now, and we'll take a look at the difference. 20 years from now. I mean, 9 years from now. I'm all mixed up. Okay. So, down Sky Point. And this is the last. Oh, maybe I'll take one more video. But this is a quick shot all the way back to Centennial Hills. I can make it in a little over 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So, off we go. Here's a landmark that will not change. There's the Kyle Canyon Road exit right there off of 95. And then you look around here, you're looking down Sky Canyon Road, and then over to Frenchman Mountain. And then there's the Muddy Mountains. Good sunset pictures here. There's Gas Peak. And the Sheep Range. And then all this area here that you see in front of us is the Sunstone development, and that will definitely be all filled in within a couple of years, residential area. Okay, heading back. This is a downhill, very, very fast. Here we go. Just have to end with this shot. There's the Sunstone sign. New community. 10 years from now, this will be, you won't even be able to see the edge of Las Vegas from this spot. And there it is, before much of the ground has been broken. Then you can see Gas Peak. And the sheep range. We won't look at the Mount Charleston Wilderness because that's behind us and the sun is immediately behind it, so blinds us. There are the Muddy Mountains. Then over here, Frenchman Mountain. Very beautiful sunset shots. Okay, and this concludes our tour of the northern growth edge of Las Vegas on the first Sunday of January 3rd, 2021. We'll come back here in 9 years, in 2030, and we will see what things look like at that point. And by the way, a good point of reference will be the Kyle Canyon Road exit here on 95. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Mount Charleston Wilderness. And right behind the sun is, a little to the left, is the La Madre Mountains Wilderness. And then over further, Red Rock Park to the left. And behind those mountains. Okay, that's it for today. See you in 9 years.